So can AI truly understand anything? We hear it constantly, right? AI is getting crazy powerful. But is it really thinking? Or is it just the world's greatest parrot, Just mimicking patterns it's seen a million times?
I mean, just think about this for a second. An AI can pass the bar exam. The bar exam! But does that mean it actually gets the law? Or has it just gotten incredibly good at, playing the game of text?
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's one thing to recite a fact from a book. It's a totally different thing to be able to draw a diagram on a napkin and explain the why behind it. One is just recall. The other is genuine understanding. And that's what led researchers to ask, how can we make a test that forces an AI to show us what it knows, not just tell us?
Well, that brings us to what you might call AI's hidden blind spot. And it's the fact that its answers, they're pretty much always just text. The problem with that is that text-only tests can be, they can be gamed. An AI can get super clever at picking up on weird little patterns, what researchers call superficial cues. It's like figuring out the answers almost always C on a multiple-choice test. You can pass without having a clue what you're talking about. And hey, this isn't some newfangled problem. The researchers behind this paper actually went all the way back to Aristotle to frame this. He said that you don't really know something until you understand its cause. A text answer from an AI? It can give you the what, sure. But can it prove it gets the why? Not always. So that's the big question. How do you force an AI to prove it actually understands? Well, a team of researchers came up with a really cool solution. They built a system called TheoremExplainAgent, and its whole job is to make an AI visualize what it's thinking.
Yeah, this thing is pretty wild. Instead of spitting out a block of text, TheoremExplainAgent's one and only job is to create a full-on explainer video. We're talking custom animations, a narration script, the whole shebang, all to prove it understands a complex idea.
And that one little change, it changes everything. Because you can't really fake your way through creating a visual explanation. The AI can't just parrot back some text it found online. It has to actually build a story, create a visual argument completely from scratch.
Okay, so how in the world does this thing work? It's actually a pretty clever system with two AI agents working together. The best way to picture it is like a little two-person film crew. You've got a director and you've got an animator.
So here's how the film crew pulls it off. First up, you have the planner agent. This is your director. It comes up with the big picture, the storyboard, the narration plan. Then the coding agent jumps in. This is your technical animator. It writes the actual Python code to generate all the visuals. But here's the really mind-blowing part. If the code it writes has a bug, the agent tries to fix its own mistakes. It'll actually debug its own code up to 5 times to get the animation work.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Because when you make an AI show its work visually, you suddenly get this clear window into its thought process. And you can spot flaws that a text answer would have totally hidden.
So to really put this to the test, the researchers gave an AI a pretty standard task. They asked it to explain something called a chain code for a simple 8-pointed star. So, how'd it do?
Well, first, they just looked at the text answer it produced, just a string of numbers. And right away, it was wrong. But here's the thing. Just looking at the wrong numbers tells you nothing about why it was wrong. The mistake, the actual error in thinking, was completely invisible.
Okay, so look at this. Here are the two answers side by side. The AI's incorrect one and the correct one. Can you tell what went wrong just by looking at these two lists of numbers? No way, right? It's just a jumble of digits. It doesn't tell you anything about how the AI messed up.
But then they had the AI generate the video explanation. And the video revealed the problem instantly. It was night and day. What the video showed was so obvious. The AI had completely misunderstood the direction it was supposed to be moving. It was tracing the star all wrong. This wasn't just a simple calculation error. It was a fundamental conceptual misunderstanding. And it's the kind of thing you could only catch by making it show its work.
And this one example, it really points to something much, much bigger about the future of AI. Specifically, how we test it and how we can build systems that we can actually trust.
And this wasn't just a one-off success story. The model they used, called O3 Mini, actually managed to generate complete video explanations for nearly, get this, 94% of the 240 different theorems they threw at it. That's a huge success rate.
But here's where it gets even more fascinating. They put the AI-generated videos head-to-head with explanations made by humans. And check this out. The AI actually scored higher on logical flow. Its structure was rock solid. But humans still had the edge on things like visual relevance and layout. You know, that creative, artistic touch that makes something easy on the eyes.
Now, to be clear, the system isn't perfect. The researchers were very open about its limitations. You still get some visual glitches, stuff like overlapping text or weirdly sized shapes. And it has a harder time with super complex subjects, like chemistry. And, like we just saw, that human knack for good design, it's not quite there yet.
But even with those issues, the main point here is so important. If we're ever going to build AI that we can truly trust, we have to start demanding a higher standard of proof. It's just not enough anymore to ask an AI what it knows. We have to start asking it to show us. So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you ask an AI a question, and you get back this perfectly written, super confident answer, maybe just take a second and ask yourself, what am I not seeing? What isn't it showing me?